Hey, everybody, we're just back from Chehalis, Washington, BNSF area where we just saw an earthworm. We're a little bit late because we needed to see that all grain train, AKA the earthworm. And that camera, guys, was brought to you by the Lewis County Historical Museum. So what a great shot that was. Boy, we're looking out with some good shots as we pause for these cameras. So I'm really happy about that. Hey, let's next go to the European Train Enthusiasts, aka ETE. And they have a huge section in the back of the Mallory complex. And they are business class sponsors, guys. And you want to check out their website at www.ete-ene.org. So they are a nonprofit. They are at the show, guys. They're live, and they've got mostly Markland track and train that they're running, but they have a clinic area. They have all these other people with their little layouts. And so they have their own little territory within the show, which is cool. And really the feature there is not only their layout, but the feature there is actually Markland. And they're actually there with their product, which is really a quality product. If you've ever looked at it up close, it's actually well, you could get versions in 2-rail, but you could get versions in 3-rail too. And if you look, it's really fun to see how they did it. There's little dots in the ties in the center, which is how they do the 3-rail. And you know, when you have 3-rail with one common piece of track in the middle, the other two of the whatever, the return or the feed, whatever, you don't have to worry about reverse loops and all that kind of stuff. So very interesting that they went that route, but boy, they knew how to perfect it. So these guys have been around for 21 years. I think they were chartered in 2000, and they do a great job with that European flair. All right, so go check out their website and you could see what's going on there. They've been growing like crazy. My contact there is Jeff Kohler and a few other guys. And every year in their territory, they send me a new drawing of how they'd like to set up in their territory. I actually tell them, here's your territory, do whatever you want in it. And they usually do a great job at that. And check them out. And if you're at all interested in European trains, this is where you need to go and come and see these guys. And they're not just at our train show. They try to get around. So go look at their website and see what's up. And don't hesitate to click on as many places as you could go, so you get a big full flair for what they do. Okay. So next, did you ever wonder how hard it is to set up a train show? Well, let me tell you something. I could set a train show up with one hand behind my back in less than 2 minutes. Don't believe me? Check out this video. And right after this video, guys, we're going to head over to a third grab bag. So let's hit it, guys. Hey, everybody, we're back, and we have with us another guest. And this time we've got Alan Small from the 470 Railroad Club. And let me just let's say hi to Alan first. Hey, Alan, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. So before we kick this off and let you talk a little bit, Alan, let me just say that if you look in the directory, guys, you could go to the 470 Railroad Club blog. You could see what's going on there. Alan, who's with us today, takes care of the newsletter. But if you look, there's all kinds of things going on. He's got a lot more to say. And I was just talking to him off air. With his authentic Maine accent, he's really making me homesick because that's where I'm from, right up his neck of the woods. So, Alan, what's happening?
Not much. To get in where I got started, when I was a little boy back in the 70s, I asked for a train set and all went from there, and we joined up for the club.
And I understand, Alan, that it's really the club, the 470 Club, is really a family affair. You've got a lot of people in your family in the club. Is that right?
Yeah, I got me, my son Jordan, my dad George, my brother Dan, who does the grant writing for the club, his son Jackson, and my uncle Francis, and Dad, Francis, and myself are on the board of trustees. And Dad's also the master carpenter up the Conway Scenic. He's kind of the liaison between the club and the Conway Scenic.
I understand he's still up there a couple days, 3 days a week. Is that right?
Yeah. I think he does it to get away from mom at times.
Interesting stuff. So the 470 Railroad Club, not to be confused with the restoration of the 470, but you guys have been around since '54, I believe, to commemorate the last run of the steam locomotive, and it's developed more into other things that you have, other collections you have, other pieces that you have. Is that right?
Yes, we got Boston and Maine F7 units, 66 that they use off and on, 68 we're renewing, hopefully getting that back to running late this summer and early fall. And we got a tank car that when they use the steam engine, the 7470, they use that to fill up the tank tender up. There we go. Got a Bang on and rustic reefer that we just repainted last summer. And we got and from that area, we got another box car of Bang on and rustic with the 3 colors on it. And we also at Cumberland Fair, when that's running, we got a old section house from the St. Lawrence Atlantic that we manned that during the fair.
Oh, great. Now
that's the last week of the, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Alan, but that State of Maine car, that was a red, white, and blue, one of my favorite potato cars. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. And last summer you were saying, I beg your pardon, go ahead.
Yeah, normally when the Cumberland Fair is going, usually the last week of September, we got an old St. Lawrence and Atlantic section house that we have a booth at the fair with and get members to help different shifts during that and to try to promote the club that way too.
Fantastic. Hey, you've been coming to the show for a while now. Go ahead.
We've been back, this would have been a 4th year, I think, but there was about a 9-year hiatus. And the last one was Matt Rhines was the one before us.
Yeah.
And when, like I said, there was about a 10-year gap. I said, we got to get back down there.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. So great. So tell us a little bit about what you do and what's going on and what kind of things the 470 Railroad Club does. You were telling me you have all these different sites and social network stuff. Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, we got a new president, Eric Barnes, that just came on board about a year ago, and he's nothing against the last president, but Eric's more tech savvy, so we're trying to get up with the times. And we do have a Facebook page account, Instagram, and a YouTube account, and I forgot to say earlier, we just bought an old GP9 from Boston that Guilford has, or Pan Am.
Yeah.
Bought in Maine 1741. We hopefully have that down in Conway next spring.
Oh, wow.
We're
So
going to that back to one of the original colors with the black, with the blue with the black cab.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Alan, when you obtain a locomotive like that, who goes to town on that? A lot of volunteers. How many are in the club now?
We got about a little over 300, and one of our members, he's Corey Fothergill, which works for Northeast Railroad in New Hampshire.
Okay,
He's our lead mechanic on this stuff, so he's excited about getting that one to getting running.
cool. And where are you housing this while it's being restored?
Well, you said it earlier, and about an hour ago. It's up to Waterville Shops right now.
Oh, is it? Oh, cool. All right.
It's
Yeah.
because it's still got the old Guilford colors on it, but it's number 72. But we want to, whatever the proper chain is, we'll get it back to that 1741 number.
Ah, that'd be cool. Excellent. 300 members. I didn't realize you guys were that large. That's fantastic. So
And
tell
we
me,
got
is there?
We got about 171 to get the newsletter by email, and the difference gets it by snail mail, which has been very slow lately.
Oh, well, that's understandable with everything that's going on. I get that. I get that. Tell me about dues. How do we join?
Well, you can go onto the blog site, and it's got the breakdown is if you get it by email only, it's $25.
Yeah.
Email and bulk mail, standard mail is 30. Standard mail only is 30. Our first class is 37. And they can, if anybody's interested in joining, they can send me an email at 470railroadclub@gmail.com. And I can get them an application, or they can go on the website and request it that way too.
Excellent. So this is a large group of people, and I love the fact that you're doing a lot of Boston and Maine stuff. The 470 you're watching, and 72 up at the Waterville shops. So that sounds like a lot of things going on for you guys.
Yeah, and we're really, I mean, like I said, nothing against the past president, but since Eric's taken over, we're kind of making some headways, which we probably saved more than I should have been where we are about 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. Well,
but it is what it is.
Sure. Well, Alan, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Anything else we need to know about the 470 Railroad Club?
No, like I said, if anybody's interested in joining, like I said a while ago, just have them shoot me an email, and I can get them an application.
That's great. And if people haven't written it down or anything, really just go to 470railroadclub.blogspot.com. But guys, it's up in our directory on our homepage or our landing page for this meeting. So you'll be able to see it there. So give these guys a shout out if you're interested, because they're doing some pretty great things. Alan, thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it. And I hope to see you. Are you coming down next year, you?
Oh, yes. I don't plan to miss it again.
All right. Well, we'll hook up and say hello face to face next year. That's for sure.
Sounds good, John.
All right. Thanks very much, Alan. I really appreciate it. All right, now, guys, we're going back to another camera. And while we do that, we'll tee it up for our next live interview. Take it away to somewhere in the, somewhere. I'm not sure where we're going this time. I'll let you know when we're out. Stan Brooks from Jacksonville Terminal Company, LLC. And if you're an end scaler, this is the guy you want to talk to. Stan, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself, John?
Thanks. I'm doing well. And before we talk about product and a few other things, let me just highlight your website, Stan. So guys, go to jtcmodeltrains.com when you're ready. It's in our directory. It's a hyperlink from our directory to Stan's website. So keep that in mind. And what Stan really was talking to me just before off the air, guys, was the level of detail. So when you go down to any of the products, those are products of the actual models that you could purchase. So go and look at that stuff. The variety is incredible. The level of detail is incredible, and make sure you check that out. And as you look at the website, you can see there's a search mechanism up at the top. You could log in, you could create an account so you could come back and visit, all that kind of stuff. But they are incredible with what they do. And with that, Stan, if you do me a favor,
Yes, sir.
because I really took an interest in it. Tell us first a little bit about what Jacksonville Terminal is all about, and then obviously tell us how you formed the company, and then finally what the heck you guys sell. And I mean that in a nice way, because the detail is like unbelievable to me. So tell us first about what the real terminal is all about.
So Jacksonville Terminal was all it all came about just from two of us N-scale modelers who we knew there was a shortfall in the N-scale industry, especially in intermodal, and we knew that we could do something bigger and better with current technology and the amount of research that goes into our containers and the passion that we have for the containers, and to know that not every container is just a container. If you start looking at a container, you'll notice there's differences, and we tend to tool those differences into our different tools for each product that is made out there. So Jacksonville Terminal Company was an old terminal company, switchyard. We still have the building here. It was a passenger terminal. It's now a convention center. One of the individuals that's involved in the company, his father used to work for Jacksonville Terminal Company. So there's some history behind there, and we are in Jacksonville, Florida. So that's why we kind of stuck behind the JTC name there.
And that's cool. And just little aside for a second. What's the temperature down there right now?
I think it's 71.
Jeez. Well, we're like a tenth of that here.
Yeah. So usually on a Sunday afternoon, we're there and we're wondering, are we gonna catch our 6:15 flight out right after the show and head south, or are we gonna miss our flight? And today we would be wondering, are we gonna get hit with a snowstorm tomorrow?
Oh, that's a good point. That's
Yeah.
right. So that gives you when the show closes at 5. That gives you like an hour and 15 minutes to get down to the airport.
That's correct. We usually can pack up our stuff in about 25-30 minutes. And
Yeah.
we're very lucky that it's in scale. So it's tight and compact, which is
Yeah,
perfect
nice.
for anybody.
Hey,
Perfect for anybody who's tight on space. In scale is the way to go.
very true, actually. Hey, let's see some of the stuff. Let's see some of your product. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna run through some of our stuff. Please note that everything is tooled down to the most detail that we can get in scale. Our latest release that we have is our Operation Awareness Response Norfolk Southern Safety Train set that we went out and we tooled a whole new 20-foot container. This container has doors on both ends, which typically you don't. It's got venting on this side. And those placards are not just stamped on there. Those are placards that are built into the tooling. They're not glued on. They're not going to fall off. Those large placards are tooled into it. So you'll see a lot of this stuff coming from us because we like to be prototypically correct. All of our containers come with IBC pins. The tank containers, because they ride on the bottom, of a well car in the belly, they don't have magnets in them. And so the 20 footers, the 40 footers, 53s, 48s, they all have magnets in the bottom and metal on top. And that's all to create the compatibility and also the polarity. You don't have polarity issues with that setup. If you had it the other way around, you would have polarity issues potentially, but you would also have a top heavy container, which is not what you want to run.
Interesting.
So that's a very unique set that we have released. We released it last week. We are sold out of them. So if anybody wants them, you're gonna have to contact your dealer. We highly suggest, if you like our product, to go to your nearest dealer. Ask your dealer to get our product. They can order our product from our 2 national distributors, Hobby Time and Heartland Hobbies. I mean, that is where we support this whole supply chain. And that's where, if you have a dealer that you want to shop with, tell them they're probably getting some type of product from there. Go get it. They can get our product. Another new release we had that was also in the next, like the last month, in the next 2 months, these are our military containers. This is, Air Force, Marines, Army. We have the potable tank container as well. We have some more patch jobs, and that's something else that we do as well, as we put patches on there so that older containers are always reused. And then we also have part of that camouflage, or the military, or the camouflage containers, which I think we're sold out of these as well. So we like that the modelers are interested in our product. A lot of modelers actually send us suggestions, which we like, because that kind of helps us keep what's going on in the market. We're not just sitting here laid back saying, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're here listening to the modelers to bring something new to the market. Our other latest releases are 53-foot containers. I'm going to show these in sets. We have our FEC CH Robinson. If you look at our Estes, this is a 2-pack where one of the units has a flammable warning on it, and that's actually a sticker, and that's prototypical. And then we have the matte sun. And so the detail on the doors, I'll just let you guys see a little bit of it. It's pretty in detail.
Stan, it's amazing. The detail it knocks your socks off.
Yeah, we're actually surprised in terms of what we can do and what we push our engineers and team to do, because sometimes they say, oh, well, you can't do it. And we're like, just try. So we just get a little bit more of this. This is our 855-8 series, same with the previous ones that I sent you or showed you. We have Twin Logistics, Universal, the XPO, and EMP, and on the bottom is our holiday container. And part of our the detail that goes into this is on like our front ends. Some have vertical ribs, some have horizontals, some have GPS units. We tool that into our tooling. So we're sitting here. We want to make modelers appreciate and know that they're getting something different every single time. We're not just sticking names on a container. We're not doing that. We will do that because we have our Visionary series, which the HO modelers out there may be very intrigued with this, but it's going to be an N-scale first because we focus on N-scale. And so part of our Visionary series, this is our first set, which is VO, VM, and AM. And I don't know, most of the HO modelers know these. These are well-known model railroads that have been created by the owners to create a railroad in a history. So we're going to be producing those in the Visionary series, as well as our MoPack, and we also have Brooks Transportation. So this is something where, like, Brooks Transportation doesn't have containers. Our Visionary series is saying if they did, this is what it would look like. And so it's a fantasy. We'll do some other thing. We're going to do some other products that maybe the industry hasn't, the real industry hasn't moved towards, but we'll put that out there. We're gonna create that vision. Hey, this is what it would have looked like if we could have done that. Our next thing that's coming is our tooling. We've got tooling completed for our 53-foot chassis that are highly anticipated, and 20-foot chassis. Never been on the market. So one of the big things that I love to point out is I have a 40-foot one container here, and this is our chassis. Most of the time you can't pick that up because, or you can't pick them up at the same time. Our chassis are built with metal plates, and because of the magnet, it'll just suck itself up whether it is on there correctly or not. But our IBC pins and the holes in the chassis allow it to line up properly. And so as a modeler, you can change stuff out pretty easily without being frustrated that it's not compatible. So our product line is compatible. Every single container that we produce, compatible 20s, 40s, 48s, 53s. There'll probably be some 45s coming out. You never know. We need to know from the market. We love the feedback from the modelers to help us know what to produce. What are we looking for? What else is coming? We have our gate entry kiosk, which would be for like an intermodal yard. You can use that intermodal yards. You can use it for parking lots, parking garages. It's a gate. It's got highly detailed features on it, conspicuous striping, black and yellow, along with cameras. They're not functional, but there's some curbing, and we're going to do some that match some of the big names, like a Amherst. You know, you're going to see Amherst blue out there, so you could use a yard. You can use it for parking garages. There's a variety of stuff that you'll be able to use our gate entry kiosk for. And then finally here, we're running, we got some new tooling coming for 2021. We have our 40-foot high cube refrigerated series that will have 8 different front ends. And that's going to be the different toolings. I believe we have 5. We've got a ton of different manufacturers. You're looking at Thermo King, a Carrier. Every manufacturer has designed their own refrigerated unit. We're going to have that, and we're going to tool their tooling, and they're going to look great, as well as adding a gen set to the top of it, so that models will be able to move that interchangeably between the different 40-foot high cubes if they want. That's going to be done through magnets and metal, and some engineering that we always are looking to spice up the market, to bring it to the next level. We also have tooling for our 53-foot ocean containers. Never been on the market. This is where JTC is always filling in. We fill in the market where other manufacturers will not do it. They won't go there, but we will go there. We know there's a need. We know there's a want, a desire, and that's where we focus. So if there's something that your club, somebody's looking for something, shoot us an email. Let us do some research. Let us see what we can do to help out. Let's see if other models are interested in it. And that's what we like to do, is just to feel the market, to know where are we going. That 53-foot ocean container is complete new tooling. We're going to offer APL, a trailer bridge, tote maritime, and Crowley. Tote and Crowley are definitely big here in the Southeast. So those will be popular, amongst the CSX people and anybody else who wants an ocean container. There's a JB Hunt gray that's in it's an ocean certified container scheme. And all these ocean containers is where they've actually put supporting points within the 53. Most 53s are domestic, so they're not ready for the ocean. If you put a 53 on a real container, on a real ship on the ocean, it will probably crumble. So it's detailed enough that you have to have certain castings in certain places and structurally sound supports. We have our 60-foot container over flat car that'll come out in about Q3, and we have a new rail car that we haven't really disclosed on what we're going to be doing or what's coming to the market, but we have more freight cars, more rail cars that are going to be coming out to supply that demand and that want from modelers.
Well, Stan, that was a mouthful and a half, but I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I've got an idea. How about an Amherst Belt Lines container?
Hey, we don't have a problem doing that. We love supporting the shows just to show the viewers out there right now, which I appreciate all your guys' time and attention. We did a Gateway 2020, a 3-pack set. It's hard to see with a 3-pack set. The show that never went on.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, we have this. That's something that we want to support shows. We like to do fundraising. If there's a possibility, if there's somebody out there, we create a fundraiser for the Harrison Hart, Matt Gandowski at Fox Valley Models. And that was something where JTC, we wanted to give back to the community, help their family out. We knew what they were going through. And so we do that kind of stuff. That
is fantastic. Well, I can't tell you how glad I am to hear all of this. This was really, really nicely done. Stan, thank you so much. I'll see you next year up here in the cold. But hey, keep up the great work. Just to let people know how detailed and how much you care about getting it right was exactly why we wanted you to be here. So thank you so much for all of that, and we'll see you soon.
All right, thanks a lot, John.
All right, and we'll talk containers too.
Yeah, have a good one.
For Amherst. All right, we'll see you. Take care.
Right, bye-bye.
So next, everybody, let's give a little shout out to Trainworld. And at the same time, let's use this video that we're about to show of the Christmas display. Let's use this display to tell people a little bit more about what we do. So we do a lot of projects for our surrounding area. We do a lot of fundraising for Bay State Children's Hospital, for kids with autism, et cetera, et cetera. But we were and a couple of years back, we did a project for the Northampton Historical Society, known as Historic Northampton. But this year we were approached by Union Station in Springfield, Massachusetts. And it was actually the people that contacted me were the decorators of the Christmas tree that they put in the center of Union Station. And she called me and said, John, here's what we want to do. And we know you guys can do it. I said, okay. And she said, we have a 15-foot high Christmas tree. And in the center of the Christmas tree, we want to suspend a circle of track. And it turned out to be suspended in about the first third of the Christmas tree. But they wanted it to look like it was floating on air. So I said, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So I needed I couldn't do G scale because it was too heavy. So I thought, well, let's do Lionel. So who am I going to call? I called Lionel, talked to the folks down there, and they said, call Ken Bianco. And Ken Bianco, Jr., Senior, guys, this is a family business run wild. They are the largest Lionel dealers in the country, as far as I know. I may be wrong, but I think they are. And I talked to Kenny Jr., who is a wonderful guy. He comes to the train show. He's been coming for 3 or 4 years now. So big shout out to Ken and Trainworld, and go visit them guys at trainworld.com when you can. But Ken recommended the right stuff for me. And so I got a circle of track because Fast Track and Lionel comes in all different diameters. So I got a 6-foot diameter circle of track. And let's go look at that video and let's see what the final product looked like. But before we run there, when we instructed the engineer who's on site, and not the locomotive engineer, I mean the engineer who's in charge of Union Station, guys, he just went wild with it. He started playing with the trains that were running around the track, and he got really good at it because, you know, the latest Lionel commemorative locomotive from this year's Christmas set could play Christmas carols. It could talk, and watch this video and you'll see what I'm talking about. But it's a good illustration of what we do with the help of our partners out there and what we do for the local community. So let's run that video and let's see what that looks like. So was that video a hoot or what? So the guy runs the train around, he stops it, and he says, next stop, Christmas. And then he toots the horn, he starts playing one of the 3 or 4 different Christmas carols, and he takes off with the train. And guys, we went up to see it in person. I went up a couple of times just because they were running that train 10, 12 hours a day for a month. And I'll tell you, it was running the whole time. It was really fun to see. So that was pretty cool. Hey, next up is MiniPrints. And guys, it's a new company and you got to see this video. I can't wait to show you. Bernard Helen is the owner and he's got a little tagline, guys. It's the little things that matter. And you know, they say necessity is the mother of invention, right? This is what we're talking about here. There were certain things that Bernard needed for his layout that he didn't have. He couldn't find. He said, I'm going to build these. So check out this video. It's about a 10-minute video. And if you go to their site, there's an Amherst code. It's 15% off, guys. It's Amherst 15 for all MiniPrints available during this weekend. So check them out at miniprints.ca, another one of our Canadian friends. So check out the video. Let's go to the videotape.
Manufacture scale scenic details, 3D custom printed for your model railroad layouts. Our goal at MiniPrints is to make your layout come alive. I'm new to model railroad manufacturing, so in the next 10 minutes, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the story of how I started MiniPrints and what we can offer you. This is me in Quebec City about 5 or 6 years ago. I model a Genesee and Wyoming short line called the Quebec-Gatineau Railroad. And this is my layout. It's an HO scale layout that represents the Genesee and Wyoming Quebec-Gatineau Railroad from Montreal to Quebec City. It's an HO scale. It takes up my entire basement, and the main part is in a room 30 feet by 10 feet. My journey to 3D printing starts in the upper left-hand corner, here. I was creating a little beaver lodge scene. You can see it here. And I was looking for an HO scale beaver, and no one made one. Not Walters, not Woodland Scenics, not Prizer. I couldn't find one anywhere. This was amazing to me. The beaver is the national symbol of Canada. It's on the CP logo, and they're everywhere, but not in HO scale. So I got my design program out, I made one, and I sent it off to an online 3D print shop, and 2 to 3 weeks later, lo and behold, my beavers arrived. But everything changed when I purchased this in February. This is the Elegoo Mars resin printer. I now have 4 of them. It's going to change our hobby, and it's allowed me to create things that I never imagined. So here are my new 3D printed beavers. This time I was able to print 3 poses. here on my printers, and it really made that Beaver Lodge scene come alive. So I showed a few friends, and people thought they were pretty interesting, and a couple people asked for beavers, and next thing you know, I've started a small hobby business. MiniPrints started in March, and it's grown internationally with over 400 orders from Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Norway, the United Kingdom, and of course the United States. It all started with the beaver, and we now have about 75 different animals with new figures being added every week. The site is really divided into 3 areas that I'll talk about today: animals, people, and objects. The animals is where it all started, and the animals are divided into animals of the sky, including our iconic Canada geese, which everybody seems to really like, animals of the land, and animals of the water. Now, these animals were added as a result of requests. So, for example, a friend was creating a Jaws scene on this layout and wanted a great white shark and asked me if I could make one. So the great white shark was added. Some modelers in Florida asked if I could add manatees. They were added. So really, these animals have all been added as a result of requests. The animals led to a series of objects. Once again, people asked for Muskoka chairs, Adirondack chairs. Halloween was coming, so I thought jack-o'-lanterns and skeletons would be fun. And the line continues to expand. The area that I think I'm most excited about are some of the new work I've been doing on people. People is the newest section that MiniPrints offers and is arguably becoming the most popular. I metal detect, so it would be fun, I thought, to add some detectorists. I had a request for someone sitting on a porch playing a banjo, and believe it or not, someone wanted bagpipers in HO scale for their layout. Now, I should mention that all MiniPrints are available in HO, S, and O scales, and I have a whole section just for N scale. So not every MiniPrint is available in N scale, but there is an N scale section available. Having a lot of fun with the people and constantly coming up with new ideas and new requests. These are some CSI forensic detectives. The newest area that I'm focusing in on is a line called Custom Crews. This all started with the lack of modern railroad figures on the market and a number of people requesting things that they could add to make their railroad look more modern. I put a call out for photographs, and Nick was kind enough to send this picture of him working, and it really captured my attention. So I thought, that's a great pose, and I made an HO scale Nick. So here you can see Nick on John's layout, all painted up. Custom Crew 1, of course, led to number 2, which was a realistic switch stand railroad worker, led to Custom Crews number 3 with the belt pack, and finally Custom Crews number 4, hanging out on the locomotive. You can see all of them here, Custom Crews 1 to 4, with new files being added weekly. The other area I'd like to talk a little bit about is our MiniPrints of the Month Club. We have created a subscription service for $24.99 US, where every month we will send you a box of HO scale figures. You will get one set of animal MiniPrints per month, a set of seasonal MiniPrints, and a mystery MiniPrint. And the box has a value of at least $50. So it's really great value for money. Pictured here is the November box, which included a couple flying pigs, some hunters, some gun dogs, a pointer, and a spaniel, as well as turkeys and pheasants. Subscriptions are available monthly, $24.99 US. You can cancel anytime, or for 6-month and 12-month periods. Both the 6 months and the 12 months are discounted. If you subscribe for 6 months, you save 10%, and you sign up for a year, you'll get 15% off. So really, we're moving into the figures area, always looking for inspiration and ideas, objects, and of course the animals we started with. All of it came from this need to create a beaver. So I thought I'd share with you, just at the end here, some pictures of some of the figures we've created and the stories behind them. This is probably the smallest mini print I've ever created, or certainly one of them. This is our HO scale groundhog. And one of the largest, our O scale elk. I really enjoy creating small items, thus the name MiniPrints. The smaller the better. Here are some HO scale crabs and an HO scale cow skull. My favorite mini print, I think, has to be the pileated woodpecker. And this was a really fun one, maybe the smallest we've created. N scale shark jaws for the person modeling the jaws scene. As mentioned, I love custom requests. You can always email me at bernard@miniprints.ca. This is something I'm working on now for someone, a line of realistic loggers for their logging railroad. And they've sent me a number of poses, which I'm recreating. So look for those. I'm also working on some late steam era icemen loading reefers, and those are almost ready to go. So if you have any requests, please send them in. Next up will probably be a line of realistic female railroad workers, because that's lacking in the market. I promised at the beginning that there would be a discount code. So if you would like to shop with 15% off, I'm happy to extend a 15% off discount to all of you watching today. So just enter Amherst 15, that's AMHERST15 at miniprints.ca and make your layout come alive.